In life, we all make mistakes. As we grow older, it's inevitable that we'll do a few things we're not proud of and we'll end up having regrets. Sometimes it's something super small. Other times, that's not really how it ends up being. Old Man's Journey is a charming, relaxing puzzle game about an old man who heads out on an adventure and finds himself reflecting on his life and some major decisions that it seems he regrets making. All of Old Man's Journey's puzzles are based around a single, pretty simple mechanic: raising and lowering platforms so that they intersect, allowing you to move between them and make it from one end of the screen to the other. It's simple enough, but it takes some getting used to since there's no actual tutorial. That said, despite the brain adjustments you gotta do to get used to this and the lack of a tutorial, I think it actually really fits, and I think they do a pretty good job of easing you into the mechanics. As the game progresses, it mixes up the world-bending puzzles with some simple environmental obstacles. Just to name a couple, there's sheep that you need to herd out of the way and waterfalls you need to slide down. Every new mechanic or interactable thing that the game adds feels intuitive and makes sense, especially after you interact with them. The puzzles are pretty easy, but that doesn't really stop them from being fun and causing the occasional bit of head scratching. But what makes Old Man's Journey special is its story and presentation. The entire story is told through gameplay and still-ish pictures. At the end of each level or level segment, the old man sits down and observes something in the environment that reminds him of his past. A couple traveling in a van or even hot air balloons on the horizon. He strokes his beard and recalls whatever specific memory he's gonna recall. And these memories, they're gorgeous. Not just visually, but in terms of storytelling, I think it's really beautiful. They're still, with a few things moving a little bit, the camera's kind of shaking, and the art behind them is just top notch. The way they're pieced together in the order that you get them in tells the story, and it lets you piece together this old dude's past and figure out what the hell is happening. It really gets you wondering about what he's on his trip for, and it had me making bets all the way to the end. Old Man's Story is a pretty short game. It was originally made with mobile gaming in mind, so it's pretty easy to pick up and put down as you play through its handful of pretty creative levels. Because of how short it is, I've actually kind of talked about all there is to talk about. You know, it's a really reflective game, and it's one that I think people can learn a lot from. Not just in terms of different ways to tell stories in games, or different types of stories that we can tell, but I also think if you're reflective enough, it can kind of give you some insight into how to be reflective on decisions that you've made. And I think it can help people come to terms with the fact that decisions you make in the heat of the moment you may end up regretting later on. You can get Old Man's Journey on Google Play or the iOS store for about $5, and you can get it on Steam for about $8. It never gets old, unlike the guy you play as, and if you're looking for a solid story told in a unique way with clever puzzles, this is definitely one worth checking out. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Indie Bytes. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. Be sure to check out the other content that we put out on this channel, and remember to drop me a line here on Twitter or through email with any game recommendations that you've got. You can find all that stuff down in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye!